"Mommy, why can't we all be the same skin color?" That was the question my son asked me one evening after school. He was only 5 years old, and already facing the complexities of identity, belonging, and exclusion. I paused, because how could I explain to my son that the world he thought was so simple, a world filled with crayons, cartoons, and story times, was about to be shaped by something so much deeper? When I asked him why he was even having these thoughts, he said a classmate told him he should only be playing with children with the same skin color as he has. My heart sank. There he was, facing his first experience with exclusion, and he didn't even have the words for it. But instead of getting angry, instead of being sad, he thought, I need to create a solution. What if we were all the same? I was a bit proud, but as a mother, I wanted to protect him. As a writer, I wanted to empower him. And now, as an advocate for diversity in children's literature, I want to help others to know exactly where to start. I saw my son's no taking shape, and instead, I wrote a book to help that no turn around. Because stories shape us. The stories we read through our childhood help to form the foundation of how we see ourselves and how we see each other. They told us what to think, what was normal, what was different, and sometimes even what is worthy. But for far too long, the stories on those bookshelves told only one part of the story. In 2023, just a couple years ago, the Cooperative Children's Book Center cited that only 13% of children's books had a main character of color. Nearly 50% of children in the United States are non-white. That boggled my mind, because this meant millions of children didn't get to see themselves as a hero in the stories that they read. And millions of other children didn't get the perspective or get to see the world through someone else's eyes. And when children don't see diversity in books, how can they expect to see it in life? If all superheroes looked alike, if all princesses had the same features, if all families looked alike, everything else would feel other. But the powerful thing is, just as exclusion can be learned, well, so can inclusion. Imagine a classroom where all children feel seen in the books that they read. Imagine story times where children get to see different cultures from their own. Imagine a library where a girl in a hijab, a boy in a wheelchair, a child from a single-parent household, or a beautiful brown-skinned girl can take a book from the bookshelves and say, hey, that's me. But this isn't all about books. It's about creating a world where our children see kindness as the norm and not the exclusion. Because when we introduce diverse books to children at an early age, we create adults who are more understanding, more empathetic, and more accepting. And you don't have to be an author to make this change, because the small acts that you create can make big ripples. You can donate a diverse book to your child's class or school. You can read inclusive books so that your children could find out about different cultures. You can even challenge your local bookstore and library to stock books by underserved voices. Because our children are listening and they are learning. Take it from me. When I was able to introduce more diverse books to my son, he was empowered to go back to that classmate and say, hey, we can all play together regardless of the color of our skin. And that is the power of a story. Think about the world that you want to see in the next 10, 20, or 30 years, where CEOs hire inclusively, where teachers are empowered to uplift all children in their classrooms. And yes, where lawmakers fight for equality. But you don't have to wait until that no starts taking shape in your child's life. You can help to create a better future just in the pages of the book you give them to read today. Even now, when there are widespread book bans all across the nation, when diverse books and real histories are being taken from the bookshelves of their classrooms and our libraries, as if sheltering our children from our differences is going to make the world less diverse. Trust me, it's not. And that's why I love what I do. I'm an advocate for diversity in children's literature because I believe in the power of a story. And I believe that the right story can open hearts and change minds now.